Right, I am. You know what? I'm gonna do this. This is yeah. I've got all my card images. Yeah, I have the Windows. Shut up about the Windows subsystem for Linux. This is my code that. You don't need this. In fact, we do not need this. Do not need this declaration. Does it import it? Is this an interface? It's a class, but I'm only using it as a type, so it doesn't get imported. This is the code I wrote to download the card images. Right. Why is VS Code? Oh, it's updating itself. Create a single-use template. Because last time I tried to do a multi-use template, I had many problems. Right. Let's bring up the inspector. I want to delete this iframe, didn't work. Okay, we will delete this div. You can just delete this div as well. There we go. No adverts here. Right. That's Bloomborough. You've exceeded the max upload file size limit. Damn it. Okay, these are, in fact, too big. I guess we will... This is 300 meg. Okay, so these images... These are JPEGs, that's 488 by 680. How big are these ones? 745 by 1040. Okay, it looks like we need VS Code after all. Dot normal. Why is it? It's from Alchemy. File Explorer. Okay, that'll have to do. Wait, why am I doing this? Is going to open in GIMP. I don't know if these are actually PNGs. I called them .png. Why is it... What I don't understand here is that this is this output folder. Oh, no. A package.json can stay there. Because it seems to be in the list. But it isn't in... Hidden items are shown. Yeah, I don't really know why that's the case. Stop telling me to install the Windows subsystem for Linux. Is it sorting it differently? Wait, if I... Run it again. It does, it's just to sort... It's alphabetizing them in a different order. Right. There we go. Now I need to do these, and I... Wait, I want this over here. Do not switch account. Your videos. I should have somewhere 587 videos. Wow. Ranking every Bloomberg card. What were my tiers? How do I watch it? It's not made for kids. Save. I can't remember how I watch it. Oh, there we go. Right. Okay, so all my tiers: amazing, great, good, fine, bad, and unplayable. Bad. unplayable. Oh. I need my water. Alright. As always, this is mostly draft focused. I haven't actually done that much draft, but it's from a limited standpoint. No, we're not talking constructed. Abandoned campground. These are... There's a full 10 card cycle of these. Honestly, I'm thinking fine. They're dual lands, they enter tapped. Yes, if a player is on 13 or less life, they enter untapped. But usually, by the time that matters, you you already have the colours of mana you need. That generally only shows up mid to late game, at which point having a dual land isn't even that. But by the time it's relevant, you'd almost most of the time rather just have an actual basic, because then it enters. I mean, then they're, I guess, not. But at that point, the extra color is most of the time not actually that relevant, because you just when you get to the mid game, you don't. Basically, by the time you get to the point where it's entering untapped, you almost certainly, because you're probably in draft, you're probably playing two colors. Maybe you're playing three, but you're probably playing two colors. If you get to the point where this is coming in untapped, you either are in a really terrible, basically. So for this, suppose you're playing Azorius. If you have blue and white, then the fact that there's taps for both doesn't really matter. If you, say you only drew white mana sources, you're already in a pretty bad position, right? If you're playing two colours but you only have one of them to the mid-game, then it's not going to save you, So I'm putting... This entire 10-card cycle will go in fine. Abhorrent Oculus. Oh, this... I have... Yeah, no, this is a brilliant card. It's going in amazing. 3 mana 5/5, but it's only coming out. It's not coming out super early. And it makes you more stuff. And it has flying. It does get hosed by Ghost Vacuum. I think that goes in amazing. Yeah. Acrobatic Cheerleader. I want to say fine is my initial reaction. I haven't played that much white. I haven't been drafting the more recent sets as much as I did the earlier ones, just because I guess I haven't been as into it, and I burned out a bit on playing Magic. I pre-released and I did maybe 2 drafts and a Halloween trick or treat sealed event, which was weird. I might do Foundations at some point. I think this is fine. The second main phase of it's tapped. I mean, it's going to attack. The idea is you attack with it on turn 3 and then it's a flyer. Now, okay, the problem with this is that I believe... Yes, we have the actual card Leyline of Resonance. So we don't want the version from Alchemy. You know what? We're going to reset this. I will delete the advert again. We don't need this either. Just deleting it from the HTML. We're going to delete this image. Where is the delete? So we had the campground was in fine, the Oculus is amazing, and the Acrobatic Cheerleader was also fine. If there are any others from... I don't think there are. Wait, what's this? Linen of Resonance. Oh yeah, but we'll do that later. Altanak the Thrice Called. I think I got one of these. Oh no, I haven't. This is the one from Say Its Name. 7 mana 9/9 with trample. We're judging it on its own. This card interacts with Say Its Name, which would be... That's trapped in the screen. I think. Yeah. So it would be before that. That's not it. Is that it? Say Its Name, yeah. This is the one that cares about a card named Altanak the Thrice Called. We're not assuming you have that, but for that card we are, again, we won't be assuming you have this. So for this, it's got a protection. It's kind of like Ward, but not. I think it's good. I don't think it's great. It's definitely not amazing. The third ability I think is basically irrelevant in limited. Sure, you might have... It can get a creature into your graveyard for Delirium, but creatures are easy to get into your graveyard. They naturally go to the graveyard by... You just attack and get them to die. You can just kind of get them to die in combat or throw them as a blocker. Throw them under something as a blocker. Chump block with something small to get it in your graveyard. I guess you could use it early for some questionable mana fixing. Like, oh, I've only got 2 lands and I did a Manifest Dread, a third one into my graveyard. I could pitch my Altanak to get it back. I think it's only going in good. In Constructed, maybe it's better. I don't think it's actually particularly any better. Anthropede. Rooms can be annoying. I mean, it's a 4 mana 3/4 with reach. It's alright. I think it's in fine. I think the Appendage Amalgam. This is a weird card. I do not understand why it has flash. It's just the oddness of the fact that it has flash, but doesn't do anything when it ETBs. This is a pretty decent card. especially in black, which generally would be trying to play. I mean, you've got the black green. I think is Delirium. There's some Threshold, I think, in this set. I don't even remember what black blue is. I think black blue also cares about your graveyard. Like this, it's enchantment creature. It's got two types, which is good for Delirium, and it also surveils stuff. It feels like it has flying because it has a keyword ability, and flash makes no sense on this card. Like so many times, and it's a 3/2 as well. So it's not even particularly great blocker. Like the number of times I was like, "You attack me, I'm gonna flash in this appendage amalgam and not block with it." If it's surveilled one on the ETB as well, I mean, even then you might just play on your own turn. I think it's Haltonak. I mean, it will win you the game most likely. It like basically, if this comes out, either it gets removed or it wins you the game. Because it's a 9/9 with trample, and at least it draws you a card if they kill it, unless they like kill it with some sort of death touch or something, or do something in combat. Oh, hey, this is a JPEG. Like this is a JPEG image, I guess. Even though I've the file extension I've used is .png. It like the file format is JPEG, so I guess apparently. Oh, I think maybe. See, I'm getting to more tiers, or I want more tiers. Maybe I'll put this in great. I'll put this in good. This thing. I think this is good. I believe the Boros deck in this set is creatures with power 2 or less. It's also an artifact, which is useful for Delirium if you're doing that in your Boros deck. See, now I want a like very good. That I want to put those in. Attack in the box. This card's fine, I think. The thing is, now I'm like, should this actually be in good? I'm thinking. Ooh, no, stay there. Yeah, I've changed my mind. I think it's great just because it will close you the game so hard. What was the one I just found? Is it this? Bailment Leech. This, I think, is fine. Oh, let's see if I could read that. I mean, it's a bear with a bit of upside. I think Demir might be rooms. Ballast. Oh, this card's amazing. It might only be great, but honestly, I'm putting it in amazing. I love this card. Actually, it is. I think it's better than that. Maybe I should bring back the pivot tier. Because I want it in a... It feels like... Yeah, I think I'm moving that down. This card is... But, like, I just kept manifesting it. Even though it's 5 mana, it's not... I'm thinking of something else. There's another one that you have to pay a bunch of mana when you cast it, but you just manifest it, and then it's, like, 2 mana. It's like a 3 mana 5/5. The baseball bat, and I haven't used this. This is pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. The 7 mana, I think, knocks it down. I'm not amazing, massive, not completely happy with my tiers. Bashful Beastie. 5 mana, 5/4. When it dies, you manifest Dread. It's below curve slightly. Sure, you manifest Dread, but like, it's a 5 mana 5/4. When it dies, you get a 2/2 that might become something else, but like, I still think it's fine. Bear Trap. I mean, it's 4 mana. 4 mana, it's... Wow. It's 4 mana Lightning Bolt. I think this is bad. I think this is a bad card. It's 3 damage for 4 mana. Choose target creature you control, target creature opponent controls. This is a great card. It's a really nice Gruul removal spell. Bedhead Beastie. 6 mana, 5/6 menace and mountain cycling. It's fine. Was it 6 mana? Yeah. It's a bit expensive. Betrayer's Bargain. 2 mana for 5 damage. I mean, it's kind of like Lightning Axe, but more expensive, but it has slightly cheaper additional costs. Lightning Axe is like a single red. Right? No. Wish to search in the search box. But you have to pay 5 or discard a card? Wow. Gatherer is being very slow. Yeah, it's 1 red. I have this printing. Wow, Gatherer is very slow today. Is this card good? You can sack a creature. Oh, you know, this is the printing, because I remember that I recognize the flavor text. Windows? What is going on here? $503. It's $503. Let's see if I go to, say, the yeah, okay, that transfers data down pretty darn fast. I guess we will go, but yeah, okay. So it's not just some sort of bandwidth issue on my end. I was getting like 9 megas a second downloading the Elder Scrolls wiki. I think it's probably good. 5 damage is a fair bit. This is just a... Oh no, that's that. So basically it's a swamp that's better if you're playing Rakdos. I think I'm going to put those in good. There's a cycle of some kind of those. Bleeding Woods, that goes in fine. Boiler Bilge's Ripper. 5 mana 4/4. You sack a creature in Charmer to do 2 damage. Ugh. I don't... like, 5 mana and sack a creature and enchantment for a 4/4 and 2... Like, 4 mana 4/4, and then it's expensive shock stapled to it. I think that's bad. Like, it just doesn't do anything. Inspect. I could set a rotation. I'm not going to try and set a rotation using CSS manually. It's just not going to end well. Then you unlock... Okay, so Bottomless Pool is basically sorcery speed unsummon. This card is good. Yeah, just the versatility that you can unsummon with it. I haven't got anything in here. Break Down the Door. That is some art. Oh, I should point out, I'm not really a fan of horror as a genre. I haven't watched like any horror films, so I will get some references. Like I know some of the stuff, like Ghost Vacuum is a Ghostbusters reference, or possibly Luigi's Mansion, but like it's Ghostbusters. But like, yeah, I'm not necessarily gonna get these things. This is pretty good. 3 mana for Manifest Dread, but the versatility to exile, and in exile, I mean, it exiles things because it's relevant because there's Delirium in this set. Set is about the graveyard. The versatility bumps it up to good. Brood Spinner, more art. That's killer art. Okay, so it's a 2 mana 2/3 with reach. ETB Surveil 2. Yeah, this is a pretty good card. Definitely, if you got this early, I'm playing Golgari, unless I get something very spicy. This is very... 6 mana, you're not doing that, but I mean, it's a 2 mana 2/2 with reach. Definitely good. This card is... Oh, it's called Death Touch. The Death Touch bumps it to fine. It's also slightly terrifying art. Cathartic Parting. The owner of target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls shuffles into their library. You may shuffle up to 4 target cards from your graveyard into your library. So it's naturalized but janky. I think it's going in fine. This is very much an It doesn't do anything. It's a 4-mana 4/4. And then it has an irrelevant ability. It gains you 2 life if you didn't if you attacked. You know, store search library for. Okay, this is a card. I don't know if it's actually good. 8 or more different nodes, so you need like 4 rooms. Sorry, I'm having to tilt my head sideways to read the card. I don't know if this is actually good. I'm gonna put it in... good, because it's funny. It might not be... It depends if it's reasonable to be able to get... I mean, if you can get the rooms... But you need a lot of rooms, because it only chooses for one of them. It chooses for one of them. It contributes 2 doors. It searches for a room. So that's 4. So you'll need 2 more room cards. Oh, the chainsaw. Okay, so this is... I mean, it's... Lightning Strike? Is Gatherer working again? Believe that's Lightning Strike? Yeah, it's a Lightning Strike. It doesn't have flash. And it makes the creature bigger, right? But importantly, because it's an equipment and not an aura, if the thing with the chainsaw dies, you can give the chainsaw to something else. So I think this is pretty good. I mean, Lightning Strike is not a good card. Let me make that clear. This is not a good card because Lightning Bolt exists. Why would you pay 1 on a red for 3 damage when you could pay 1 red for 3 damage? Having said that, there were, see Mark Rose was doing deck lists. Like, yeah, you'd run Lightning Strike as a 4-of. Although, having said that, it wasn't printed until Theros, so I guess you weren't running Lightning Strike as a 4-of. But, like, you could run Lightning Strike... What the heck? Game Night. You'd run Lightning Strike as a 4-of because you can only run 4 Lightning Bolts, but you could run 4 Lightning Strikes as well. No. This, on the other hand, because it does other stuff, is actually important. Now, that's what's relevant. The Lightning Strike's not a good card. I think this is good. Okay, so Impulsive Draw. This is a great card. Oh, I need one of these. This is an amazing card. Pay the mana cost your spell you cast from exile. So you can cast once each turn. You can cast something from exile for free. And then so obviously you would get the Charred Foyer to Impulsive Draw, and then you get the Warped Space. So you Impulsive Draw something and then cast it for free. I think this is. It's definitely great. I'm putting it in amazing. Clammy Prowler. I think it's eh. I was gonna say fine, but then I remembered that it's a 4-mana 2/5. It might be fine. Clockwork Percussionist. 1 mana, 1/1 with... Yeah, this is a fine. This is fine. It's just gonna be 1 mana, 1/1 with haste that Impulsive draws you when it dies. This is an amazing card. Interesting to note, this card works on commanders. If you cast this on someone's commander, then it goes to the graveyard, but they can't put it into the command zone. They have to wait for state-based actions to get checked. So you get to put it back onto the battlefield under your control, which doesn't allow them to replace it by going to the command zone. So obviously, when it gets sacrificed, they can put it in the command zone. But it's 3 mana to destroy target creature. A murder's an instant, but this is it's only sorcery speed. I mean, it doesn't gain haste. That is the problem with it. The creature doesn't gain haste. So you can't attack with it. So actually, I think it's only going to go into great. But it's 3 mana, arbitrary creature destruction. Destroy target creature for 3 mana. And if it does something on ETB, all better. Commune with Evil. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. I mean, it's 3 mana to draw you a card. Wow. I'll put the rest into 3 mana for a filter draw. It's probably pretty good. Conductive Machete. That does not look like a machete. It looks more like some sort of... It looks like something out of... I don't know. Not Star... Maybe something... I've never watched really any Star... I've watched one Star Trek film. And I think the films aren't generally regarded as being great. But I've not really watched any Star Trek. This look... Maybe it's something that some form of bad guy would have in Star Trek. It doesn't like something that Starfleet would have, I guess. But it looks like some sort of sci-fi weapon. I don't quite know. But clearly it's being powered because it's plugged in, so it's not just conductive, it's electrified. Okay, so it's one of the ETB Manifest Dread, then put it on. I think this one's fine because it's 4 mana and you get a 4/3. And it's really expensive to put it on anything else. It's going in. It's a 4 mana 4/3. It makes it out of bad tier just because you can put it on other stuff and it puts something in your graveyard and maybe you manifest something good. Coordinated Clobbering. This is a good card, right? It's a kill spell, and it'll generally kill something. Obviously, you have to tap your stuff, but it does tap them, right? It's tap 1 or 2, yeah. This is good. It's not great, but it is definitely good. Cracked Skull. Yeah, this is the card that is meh. And I always get it. I kept getting it confused with. Do not know if I'll be able to recognize the art. Could be that. It's not. Whoever's trapped in the screen. There. This one. Sporogenic Infection, which also has the enchanted creatures don't damage destroy, but this one's actually much better. Creeping Peeper. I'm gonna put it in fine. Encrypted Inspector. This is good. It's got Vigilance and it gets bigger. It's a good card. Cult Healer. This is fine. This is cursed recording. This is a funny card. I don't know if it's good. Because you want to be maximizing it. So this would be best, it would be most effective in a deck that is playing one sorcery or instant on your turn, and you're not doing them on your opponent's turns. So a proper heavy spell slinging deck wouldn't actually necessarily want to run this. I mean, this is clearly an Izzet card. I don't know what the Izzet deck is in this set. You know what? I'm going to look them up. What are the draft archetypes for this set? It's supposed to be rooms, not spell slinging. The thing is, because basically it kills you if you cast 7s, instants, or sorceries. I think it's... And it could very easily leave you in a position where you can't cast any at all. Like... Because clearly it wants to be in a deck that wants to cast instants and sorceries. But it also doesn't want to be in a deck that casts too many of them. And if you end up when, oh, I've got loads, I can't cast them all, I think it's bad. If you basically, I feel like it would be an incredibly precise balance to both have enough instants and sorceries to get value out of it, but if you have too many, you'd end up not being able to cast them because you'd be. Honestly, you know what? I am straight up putting this card in unplayable. I think you would basically never be able to draft a deck that would actually want to play it. This card, on the other hand, is pretty decent. I mean, it's a 3 mana 2/2 flyer. So again, it's another equipment, ETB, you manifest dread, and then put the equipment on it. This is a good card. He's definitely running it. What's this? I recognise the art. Cynical Loner. Can't be blocked by glimmers. That's irrelevant. There aren't actually that many. It's fine. Obviously, you have to get it through, and then you can... I've done this survival thing once, and then realised after I started searching my library that I didn't actually want to put anything in my graveyard. But technically, I can't fail to find, because I believe because it says a card. I'm searching a hidden zone for a card with for any card, so I have to find. Because you can't pretend that there wasn't anything. I think it's fine. In general, Daggermore Megalodon. It's a 6 mana 5/7 with Vigilance and Island Cycling. It's fine. The 6 mana... If it were a 7/5, maybe, because then you want to attack. I mean, it's a 5/7. It's going to attack and then not be tapped, so then it can block as well. but it's so expensive. You need to get an enchantment and fully unlock a room, and then it's a 4/5 with lifelink. So realistically, it's never going to have lifelink except on your turn. But it doesn't have surprise lifelink. I think I didn't find myself actually playing them in enchantments, but again, I only did a couple of drafts, and I was basically always playing black. Not because I only play black, but just because I was getting such amazingly good black cards. This card I think is amazing. I'm running it in a commander deck. I've never actually cast it, but like, untap each creature you control during each other player's untap step. Yes, I want to untap all of my creatures during everybody's turn. Let's swing with everything. They're untapped. It's fine. And then creature spells you cast have Convoke. Is pretty good. I think I'm putting this in amazing. It might turn out to suck once I actually get into to playing it, but Defiant Survivor. This is a great card. I think. It's definitely good. It's a 3-mana 3/2 that manifests Dread. That might be a tad optimistic, you know. Cadaver Lab. 1 mana. Seems good. You need a deck that's actually getting stuff out of your graveyard. So maybe I shouldn't put it there. Demonic Council. This is definitely good. I ran this at pre-release when I had no demons at all. Because Delirium search your library for a card and put it into your hand for 2 mana. In fact, I actually cast it at one point when I didn't have Delirium. Just to get the sorcery into my graveyard, which then gave me Delirium. Because it's on the stack when it resolves, so it doesn't count itself. I think it's good. Because you need to be playing Delirium. Same with this, actually. It's definitely in good rather than great. You need to be playing Delirium. And you unlock this door. 3 mana, draw 2, lose 2. This is pretty good, actually. Like, I can see this is just be so annoying. Just like swing with my creature and it gets Death Touch, and then you just like. And if you've got something with Trample, because Trample and Death Touch is stupidly amazing. If it becomes relevant, I will be considering old combat damage rules, not the ones that were updated for Foundations, because in the context of when this set was printed, they hadn't changed it yet, I guess. This is a very good card. This is great. It equips for free. I mean, it's a 5 mana 4/4 with Death Touch and Lifelink. It's a great card. This has got a great art, but I'm not sure it's actually very good. I think it's fine because it needs so many other pieces to work. You need something to sacrifice to draw 2 cards, and you need something to sacrifice it. This has rule. Is this ever ruling? It had in the release notes. Yeah. You can't sack it unless another effect allows you to. Yeah, I'm putting it in like... What does it do? It does... draws you 2 cards. Honestly, I feel a bit about it. I might be underestimating it. 4 mana 4/3 with Menace is already fine. But the thing is, it impulsive draws. There's a lot of impulsive draw. I didn't see much of it. Doing fine. This is amazing. This card, yeah, this is I want to have lots of cards, and then because you have base power and toughness each equal to the number of creatures you control. That's insane. This is an amazing card. It's just all the mythic rooms are going in amazing. Don't make a sound. This is a good card. It's not going in great. I mean, it's a counter spell, right? It's good. It's not quite great because 2 is pretty cheap. But you do get to surveil 2. But like 2 mana, your opponent 2 mana surveil 2 is not going to do much. And much of the time, generally with these sorts of counter spells, you don't want the opponent to pay 2. You don't want them to pay. If they have 2 mana up, you're probably not going to cast it because you're like, they'll just pay 2, and at that point they may well not even, if it's me, it's like they don't want to do anything with the 2 mana anyway, and I'm not paying 2 mana to surveil 2. It's just not worth it. Generally, you want to use these. I find you want to use these sorts of spells when your opponent casts the 6-drop on turn 6. Like they tap out turn 6. You're like, this is a big thing, and then you counter it. So I think it's good. Doom, what the hell is this? Oh, this thing. This card is... Okay. Suppose you're playing draft. You cannot cast this spell. In fact, generally, excepting edge cases basically involving like Laboratory Maniac or something like that, you can't cast this spell. It exiles all but the bottom 6 cards of every player's library face down. But then you draw 2 cards a turn. So it puts you on like a 4-turn clock. Puts your opponents on a 7-turn clock. But you deck yourself first. So you have to kill them with it, and it doesn't have haste. And if it dies, I mean, then I guess... And 6 mana is just a 6 black. I think that... Basically, the only realistic way you will ever get this card out is if you manifest it. No, even then, if you manifest Dread it, you still have to pay 6 black to turn it face up. I think this card is unplayable in Limited. I'm putting it in unplayable. Oh, Island. Fine. Oh yeah, let's do the basics. We're missing planes. Where is the planes? I mean, 4 mana destroy target non-land opponent, 2 mana destroy target. This is good. Duskmourn's Domination. This card is bad. Like it's like control magic, but more expensive and worse. Right? It's bad. If you think control magic is 2 blue blue enchant creature, you control enchanted creature. This is 6 mana, which is really overpriced. I mean, even mind control is 5 mana. But like it gets -3/-0, so most of the time it's not useful as a creature, it's just like a blocker. You know, it's like you do it on a 4/4, it is a 1/4. It's not going to do anything if it attacks, and it will just kind of block smallish things, and it loses all abilities. So if it has a cool ability, you don't even get to keep it. It's incredibly expensive and not actually very good. Yeah, these are this is unplayable and not bad because, as I said, you can't actually run it. This at least does something. This is just whenever you have it, you don't cast it. Same with the Cursed Recording. Basically, there's no situation where you actually want to have it. Emerge from the Cocoon. 5 mana. This is a good card. Right? It reanimates a creature straight up. It is expensive, but it's in white. It's white, arbitrary white reanimator. Yes. Enduring Courage. This is pretty good. No, that's a great effect. What am I saying? That's brilliant. The only question is it amazing? Quite possibly. I'm going to put it in great because it doesn't have any lasting effects. It only buffs each creature once, like on one turn. This one has Flash, which is pretty good because, I mean, Flash, obviously it's a creature, so it can come in as a blocker. In fact, it can come in as a blocker, die, and come back as an enchantment immediately. Oh, it is a creature, so it counts once for each creature. But obviously you can attack, they say no blocks, and then you flash in this thing. This is great as well. It'll draw you a bunch of cards, but probably not actually. After that, it'll be a little bit less. This one is not actually... This one is bad. I mean, it's not actually bad. But it might actually be bad. It draws you one... Right, assuming you get the trigger every turn, it draws you one card on each of your turns, because realistically you're probably not doing your opponent's turn. And it's a 2-1, like the life, it's only got 2 power, and it just... Right? It's like, it's a 2-1. Sure, it's got lifelink, but it will just die if it gets into combat. I'm attacking you with my Enduring Innocence, I'll block it. Right? So the point being the lifelink won't matter. Because it's almost certainly only going to get into combat once. So the lifelink basically it'll just gain you 2 life at some point. Maybe. It might gain you 2 life total. It's unlikely to gain you any more. It's... In the right deck, it would draw you a card every turn, which is alright, I guess. But honestly, I think it's fine. I think that is by far the worst. This is definitely good. In constructed in the right deck, this is amazing. Because you can do so many stupid things with this. How big is it? 4 mana 4/3. I think it's only good in limited because there isn't actually that much life gain in this set. I haven't found. Oh, that's... Creatures you control are mana dorks. That's great. Especially because it's 3 mana, so it just comes out on turn 3. And then everything is a mana dork. Including itself. This is a great card. So what we've learned is that you should be playing... What is red, blue, green? It's a wedge. No, I want something. Okay, fine. It's a wedge. I don't know my wedges. I also don't know my Nephilim. Reject all. If you count colourless as a colour, colourless is not a colour. Wooburg, yeah. I know my guilds. I know my shards. Bant, Esper, Grixis, Jund, and Naya. And then I know like Abzan. What was it? It's Tima. These are the Nephilim, yeah? The Nephilim, and then there's Wooburg. We'd like to send you some notifications. No, thank you. What's this? Enter the Enigma. Target to come block this turn. This is fine. There's not really much more to say about it. Entity Tracker. I mean, I don't think it's great. I think it's maybe good. The Flash doesn't really do much because the Flash doesn't do anything. Why does it have Flash? You could flash it in as a blocker, but like, you could cast an enchantment and then cast Entity Tracker in response. You can't cast it in response. I actually do need to look this up. I need the name of a room. I cannot think of it. I think is that a room? No, that's from Mystery Booster. Okay. Advanced search. Subtype. Room. I want to find the one that I was thinking of. Bottomless pool, maybe? But either way, I want to look at the rulings. Okay, that's actually good to know. This one, it doesn't. It only has the names of its unlocked doors. Yes, unlocking a door is a special action. That's what I was checking. So you can't respond to like. The Flash does not interact with this, except technically you can cast it in response to an enchantment spell. But like, you can't unlock a room and then if you unlock the second door, you can't cast Entity Tracker in response to that because it's a special action. It doesn't use the stat. You have to cast the Entity Tracker has to already be out when you declare when you say I'm unlocking this door. When it has to already be out when you start unlocking the door. It'll draw you some cards. I think it's fine. Mostly I'm just annoyed by the Flash. See, this one you just do it, and then it becomes a 2/4 flyer with vigilance. It's got vigilance, and you can potentially get it bigger. That one is good, mainly because it has flying. Wait, which one's this? It's one of those, and those are going in. Fine. Yeah, honestly, they're not really any better than the I mean, I'd run them because dual lands, but Ethereal Armor. This card's like, I mean, it's not quite Cranial Ram or all that glitters. think all that glitters is +1/+1. Cranial Ram only gives it +1/+0. It's got banned in Pauper. It recently got banned in Pauper. Along with... Cranial Ram was banned in Pauper before it even got printed. It was preemptively banned. The reason is... The important point about all the glitters is the +1 power for artifacts, is the fact that it counts artifacts. So basically, and you run like artifact lands in Pauper and you can get very, very silly. The first strike is very annoying. I think I've come up against this. This is actually a great card because there are a lot of enchantments in this set. So you know what? This guy is going up to good. There are actually quite a lot of enchantments, so it can get very big very easily, and it has flipping first strike. This is a good card. It's very good, but I'm not sure I want to put it in great. Fanatic of the Harrowing. It's really expensive and in limited. They discard and you rummage. I'm not sure it's quite bad. Oh, it's the alien. Is this fear of abduction? Fear of abduction. This is a really weird card. Because the cards go back into exile. You exile the spell on... You exile your own thing on cast. You exile their thing on ETBs. So, I mean, I guess if it gets countered, your thing still gets exiled. But if it enters without being cast, you don't have to exile your own thing. But obviously, you exile something irrelevant. To exile something important of your own. To exile something important of theirs. This is a good card. But it's also a 6-mana 5/5 flyer, which I think in combat that also is removal. I'm putting it in great. Fear of being hunted. That is slightly terrifying. Yeah, it's good. Maybe. Is it good or is it merely fine? I'm not entirely sure. Because realistically, you cast it and it just dies. It's fine. It's a 3-mana 4/2 with haste that... Like, you cast it on turn 3, attack, they block it, and probably they just trade. Right? Because they probably have something with 2 power by turn 3. So most likely it'll just kind of come out. Like, you turn 3, you cast this attack. I guess you can maybe get something else through, like your 2/2 that you cast on turn 2. But they just like you... No, it's fine. Fear of burning alive. This is... I mean, it's a 6-mana 4/4 that also does 4 damage to your opponent when it enters. And then if you can get Delirium, we'll do some cool stuff. So I think it's in good. What's this? Fear of... Or do they just have like a... I think they have a mythic and a rare. Or like an uncommon and a rare or something in every colour. Fear of exposure. Oh, this thing is really good. Like, basically you tap 2 untapped lands, so it's basically a 5-mana 5/4 with trample, but if you can manifest it, you manifest Dread and put this Fear of Exposure face down, then you like 3 mana, turn this 5/4 with trample face up. This is a great card. Draw that many cards, but it's only a 2/7. is fine. Fear of falling. 5 mana 4/4 flyer is already pretty good. Yeah, that's a good card. I'm not entirely sure what that art is. It's fine. It's kind of temporary removal, but it's a lot of mana for it. Fear of Imposters. There's a joke about Among Us. I've never actually played Among Us. 3 mana 3/2 flash. And it counters a spell. They manifest dread. That's a... You could also counter your own spell. And there would be niche scenarios where I would counter my own spell with this. Examples would be if you cast something that couldn't be countered, you could then Fear of Imposters it to manifest dread. Or if you cast a spell, they counter it, you could go Fear of Imposters and counter your own spell as well. But like manifest dread, obviously. But I mean, it's a 3 mana 3/2 with flash, or and if you cast it when there is nothing on the stack, the ETB fizzles, or technically it fails to trigger. This is a good card. Fear of Infinity. It's an Ouroboros. I mean, it's good because it's a 3 mana 2/2 flyer with lifelink. This is such a slow thing. Like you have to play and you have to keep casting it again. I guess if you had 2 of them, they'd trigger each other, but like, it's good. It's not big enough to close the game, and the reanimation isn't worth it. Doesn't get it up. 2 mana 2/3 flyer. You could bounce a land, I suppose, but pretty decent flavor text. I think it's good. If it were 3/2, maybe Fear of Lost Teeth. This card's fine. I mean, actually, it's good. No, it's going in fine. It's not actually that good. Being an enchantment is pretty relevant. So it's a 2 mana 2/3, and obviously if you do it with no cards in hand, it just draws you a card. Oh! And then if you have Delirium, you get to have additional combat phases. This is a great card. Fear of Surveillance. This is fine. The being enchantments does actually make these better. There haven't actually been that many glimmers most of the time, I've found. So it's basically just a 5/5 with Menace and Death Touch. Oh, Menace and Death Touch. They have to double block it and it kills both blockers. This is a very good... I think it's great. How much mana is it? It's 5 mana. But it'll eat all their small things. Final Vengeance. This is a great card. It's a 1 mana exile target creature. For 1 mana. So you know what they could have done for this art? They could have done Lord of the Rings. They could print this in the we could reprint this card in Lord of the Rings, unless they already did. I assume they didn't. So you spell Final Vengeance. It's possible it's a reprint from Lord of the Rings. No, I didn't think so. They could reprint it in the Lord of the Rings set with the Balrog, Gandalf on the like the Balrog falling into Moria or falling off the bridge of Khazad-dûm, with its whip around Gandalf. But like, if you look at the flavor text, it's immediately the first thing I thought of, right? It's like falling, and I don't know if that's a Man or woman, it's hard to tell. The hair looks a bit like it might be long hair. I don't know. But that looks like fairly long hair, but I don't want to try and say whether this thing is male or female. Yeah, it's like taking them with it. And like the fathomless depths just immediately made me think of, I don't remember what it's called. The pit that Durin, is it Durin's Bridge? The Bridge of Khazad-dûm. For the chapter, yeah, it is Durin's Bridge. I thought Khazad-dûm was just Moria and Kudzul. Yeah, it is. It's just Kudzul for Moria. What's YT? Years of the Trees. Keledzeram. I thought the Bridge of Khazad-dûm. Oh, it's a defense because you have to cross it in single file. Wait, I thought, doesn't Gandalf? I've been distracted. Oh no, when I said translations, I wanted like Kudzul. I don't know. Is Sindarin in the list? No. Do I have a copy of Lord of the Rings to hand? That? No. Oh no, yeah. The first thing I found that I thought was a copy of Lord of the Rings turned out to be Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. The Bridge of that line looks like it's a direct quote. Let us go before the troll returns. Where is it? His other hand Glamdring gleamed, cold and white yet. The shadow about it reached about like two vast wings. It raised the whip and the thongs whined and crackled. Whined and cracked. Fire came from his nostrils, but Gandalf stood firm. You cannot pass, he said, and then he has his, I am wielder of I'm servant of the secret fire, wielder of the flame of Anor, you cannot pass. The dark fire will not avail you, flame of Udun. Go back to the shadow, you cannot pass. Yeah, okay. It's not quite. We need a new copy of The Lord of the Rings, that one's falling apart. I thought, what's the hell is that? I thought there was a name of the actual thing it's spanning. Anyway, did I rank this? No, I put I think it's great. Flesh Borrower. This is a very, it's not great, but it is a good card. Good. Where did I put those? I put those in good? Yeah, the whole cycle's going in the same tier, but because there are two cycles and I won't be able to tell them apart. This is... Oh yeah, no, this makes sense for this one to have flash, because it, like, does something when it enters. And then it can get rid of it. This is a good card. It's got vigilance as well. Oh, it's got vigilance, so it can attack. But then, oh wait, I need to just bang. You don't like it. You can attack, and it can still do its ability. It's slightly janky removal, but it is removal nonetheless. This is obviously in general a terrible card, but I think it's good. It like actually could be useful. No, it's in fine. I wouldn't run it. I might sideboard it in. That would be one of the few cards that I might actually sideboard in draft. Generally, because technically, if you draft everything that you drafted that isn't in your deck is your sideboard. But generally, sometimes you're like, oh, this deck sucked, or like this card was just bad, and you just take it out and you put in something better. This I could actually see myself siding it in. Like you play game one, they had a lot of case down stuff. I'm gonna side in this. I could actually see myself doing that. Oh, we don't need two of those. Oh, it's instant speed giving things trample. That's a great card. I mean, honestly, that might actually be great. Like, is in the great tier. At 3 mana, give something trample at instant speed. Meh. It's fine. It's very pricey. Friendly Teddy. Group hug. It's fine. Doesn't do anything. Oh, the Awakening Hall. This is good. It's 8 mana. But that is a very powerful effect. It's only great because it's an 8 mana. Ah, counter target creature enchantment spell. This is good. Oh, Ghost Vacuum. This is the Ghostbusters card. Now, this card is, I think, going in good. I think it's not as good as it feels like it should be. Most of the time, it just exiles cards from a graveyard, but 6 mana and they're only 1/1 spirits. I think I'm putting it in good. It's not great. It just isn't. Ghostly Dancers, 5 mana, 2/5. It's probably pretty good. I haven't played much white. Not sure I actually played any white. Ghostly Keybearer. This is good. It's a combat trick. And lifelink is good. This doesn't do anything. This is 3 mana for 4 damage. What do you call that? Bad, I suppose. Like 1 mana for 1 mana for 2 damage is shock. 1 mana for 3 damage is bolt. 2 mana for 3 damage is lightning strike. 3 mana for 4 damage. 2 mana for 3 mana for... What's Lava Axe? Is it 4 or 5 mana for 5 damage? 5 mana for 5 damage. This is a bad card. It doesn't even hit creatures. Volcanic Hammer is like 3 mana for 3 damage. Oh no, Volcanic Hammer is Shock, but at sorcery speed. No, sorry, Lightning Strike, but at sorcery speed. Volcanic Hammer is bad, that's what it is. 3 mana for 4 damage is just not really worth it. I think it's fine, because it does do something. You get 3 mana, 3/3. This is pretty good. It makes you boys. I don't know if they're really boys, I guess, but... Give them a burst. 4 mana for drawing 2... I mean, it draws you 2 cards and makes you a creature at instant speed in blue. I think it's fine. I think I'm underrate these sorts of things. This is... I mean, it's 2 mana for a 1/1. You have to pay another mana to equip it. So it would be like 3 mana for a 2/2, which is bad. No, I'm putting this in bad. I don't think it's a good card. So that's a good. Grab the prize. I mean, it's discarding a card to draw 2 cards. I don't like that. I don't like that sort of effect. If you don't discard a land, it does 2 damage. I'm probably underrating it. 2 mana for a 1/1. 3 mana for 2 plus counters. I mean, it's a 3 mana 4/2. That is a terrifying piece of art. I just noticed the art. That is really quite disturbing. So he has reach, and 4/2s with reach. Because it's reach, you want it to be blocking, and it really will discourage flyers. Like, sure, it'll die, but you didn't want it to attack anyway because it's got reach. This is good. And it gains you 2 life, but like, who cares? Break my neck again. Lands you control of tap, add 1 of any colour. That's some very, very good fixing. But in your draft, again, you're probably playing 2 colours because it's not good enough fixing. It would allow you to splash maybe, but it's not good enough fixing. But it is good because that is pretty good fixing. Like, you could stick with 3 forests on that. Just about. Gremlin Tamer. Probably put that in good. I'm putting it in fine. Now is this... Oh, Grievous Wound. This card's amazing. It's so good! Either it wins you the game, or they destroy it immediately. I'm going to hit you for 1 damage, you lose half your life, round it up. We've got Unstoppable Slasher coming up at some point, which is not quite as good. This is a good card. I mean, it's a flipping bear. It's a 2-mana 2/2 at instant speed. And the amount of Manifest Dread you can pull off, I think I'm putting that in great. We haven't had the card Manifest Dread yet, which should go in amazing tier because it's the I believe the only Magic card whose name is the same as its rules text. Hand that feeds. This is actually very annoying. It's pretty darn good. Because if you get Delirium, it's bringing up Menace. It's so annoying. Hardened Escort. When it attacks another type creature, you can know this person so stops into because it has to attack, but it will probably be fine. I think this is a good card. Haunted Screen. Honestly, so we're playing draft, right? It's some fixing, but first of all, this card isn't very good in Commander because you have to be playing all 5 colours. But I mean, if you're playing Ortsov, it's just great. I mean, it's 3 mana, it's fixing. But I mean, if you're not, then you end up having to pay 1 life half the time. I guess you could tap it for colourless, effectively. And then it becomes a 7/7. But I think it's fine. Haunt with Streaker. Oh. That's amazing. When it attacks Manifest and you can just revealed 2 mana, turn this creature face up. And you can hit your opponents with it. You can target your opponent's face down permanent to see what it is. And obviously if it's a creature you don't have to turn it face up. You can, but you don't have to. But being able to, that's an amazing card, right? 2 mana will just look at something. A Hedge Shredder. This is actually a great card. I mean, it's got Crew 1 and it's a 5/5. It's a 4 mana 5/5 vehicle with Crew 1. This is a great card. The only slight problem with it is that if you mill lands, you have to put them onto the... I mean, it actually gets you so many lands. If you mill lands, you have to put them onto the battlefield, which can be annoying with if you're trying to get lands in the for Delirium. That is horrible. It's a very good... It's a great card. It's basically 1 and a green, destroy target attacking or blocking creature. It's like, you attack, they block, you horrid vigor. My thing doesn't die, your thing does. They attack, you block, horrid vigor. Their thing dies, yours doesn't. It's basically 2 mana, destroy target creature, attacking or blocking creature in green. As Cartographer, it searches for lands, but I feel like it just dies. It'll only get you like 1. Bird, so that's good. Impossible Inferno. Okay. At least it's end of your next turn. But I mean, 5 mana for 6 damage. What do we call that? Really bad. Like, I mean, 6 damage is a lot, so it probably killed things. But like, it's 2 lightning bolts. And even like shock. Shock would only cost you 3 mana, and this costs you 5. Like 3 shocks. And then it just has this weird extra effect stapled onto it. It seems... think this is... The thing is, it needs to die while it has the buff. Honestly, I feel a bit about it. Innocuous rat. It's fine. It's nothing to worry about. What's this? Inquisitive Glimmer. This is good. But there's not really much more to say. It's a good card. Insidious Fungus. So it's a 1 mana 1/2. 2. That's pretty good. Intruding Soul Rager. Sacrifice a room. I like how this says that it's a PN. The base 64 says it's a PNG, but it just isn't. Drive E's got 50 gig free with 931. See, Windows Explorer thinks that these images are PNGs. But it is a JPEG image. So I guess I will, while I think of it. We'll not do that. I think it's probably fine, but it's not, is it? It's not. Reverend Gremlin. To bear with menace. Jump scare. Great flavor text. I mean, it's mighty. Wait, it is actually just. Isn't it? Huh. It's actually just mighty. Wait, was it? This is the Mighty Leap I have. It's Mighty Leap. But only 1 mana. But actually, I think I would have put. I think Mighty Leap better than that. It's alright. What did they are? They use? Are they? Wait, has it ever had any other art? I've been distracted. Has every single printing of Mighty Leap had the same art and flavor text? It was in Origins? Oh, they changed it. They went back to the. No, I should have kept that open. I think this is. I think it's good, honestly. I actually think that's good. Kaito. What exactly is a ninjutsu? How does I can never remember that. So you would. So during your turn, he's a ninja. I don't know how he managed to have no loyalty. I guess during your turn. Oh yeah, that's why. Loyalties because a planeswalker with 0 loyalty dies as a state-based action. It is a planeswalker with no loyalty counters on it. He enters with 4, but then he'd be a creature. This is just that if he loses and loyalty abilities work on any permanent. This is just an ability that is effectively put a loyalty counter on card name. You get an emblem with ninja you control, get +1/+1. But you're only allowed to activate 1 loyalty ability per turn. You still have to have 2. So if he has 2 and you activate this during your turn, he goes to 0. Therefore, he no longer has 1 or more loyalty counters. So he's not a creature and is instead only just a planeswalker and therefore dies. So you just stack the emblem, I guess. You can't activate loyalty abilities at instant speed. So what this realistically is you attack, they don't block, 3 mana, you're being attacked by this 3/4, then you do an emblem, and ninjas you control get +1/+1. Oh, or you could start drawing cards. How many ninjas are there? I feel like not actually that many. So he counts himself. Because obviously he's a ninja when he's doing. So I don't think he's actually that great. Just because they're just on. I feel like there just aren't enough ninjas. Obviously, you ninjutsu him out. Right? Obviously. Then you're just going to be like, surveil to draw a card. Yeah, he might be great, but honestly, in specifically in draft, I don't actually think it's that great. I think this is good. This is a good card. Menace, and it's an equipment. So it's a 3 mana for a 2/2 with Menace that you can reuse. It's good. It's not or bad or wherever I put it. Kona, Rescue Beastie. 4 mana 4/3. You may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. That is a great card. The only reason it might not be amazing is because it does have to essentially it has to survive combat. That's a duel. Yeah, so it's fine. Let's play a game. So it's good. I mean, ley lines. This is... There is actually some life gain. I think... but it has never seemed to be particularly relevant. I'm putting it in fine. Leyline of Mutation. This card is bad. It's a leyline, but the effect it... All the leylines have this. But the effect it has is not useful. You may pay Wooburg. Right, like, how often is Wooburg better? Right? Like, oh. Like, yeah, I'm going to pay Wooburg rather than pay the mana cost. It's not ever useful. It's not unplayable. It's actually just a terrible card. It's useless. I need a useless tier. It's unplayable because it doesn't have any upside. It's not just bad, it actively is... It does absolutely nothing. Wait, or is... I can't remember, does that go in bad? No, this... I almost want an extra tier. This card would work in some form of deck that revolved around removing the counters. This card would work in some sort of deck that's just going to cheat it out all the time. If you can get it out without... Basically, if you can get it out without having the cast trigger... Without having the... Well, it's technically an ETB trigger. So you don't cast it and you don't pay for it. Reliably. Then it's... For, I mean, it's a 6/6 fly that draws you an extra card every turn. This is a good card. It's not great because it only counts things that only hit exactly one thing you control. Leyline of the Void. Oh wait, this card's amazing. I would probably run it in the main board. I would potentially side it in when not playing black. I'm going to absolutely hard counter any graveyard-based deck. When this card does something, it hard counters. It just hoses graveyard decks. Oh yeah, this card is also terrible. Right? The sort of deck that wants to run this is a deck that has a lot of payoff, that has cards that give you payoff for having particular creature types, but doesn't have cards of that creature type. Right? Like a tribal... They don't call them tribal decks anymore. Like, I have a werewolf commander deck. I mean, it's not in blue, but, like, that deck cares about having werewolves. But for that reason, it runs werewolves. If you're playing a birds deck, you have cards that care about you having birds, and you have birds. This card is useless. Especially in draft. Unplayable. Like, oh, I'm gonna make all of my creatures glimmers? Maybe it'll do something? Or like, oh, ninjas. I mean, maybe if you had Kaito, you would pick this and choose ninja. But like, who cares? Most of the time, in a deck that... I mean, this set doesn't have a typal theme. But generally, if your deck cares about your creatures being of a particular type, you would have built it with creatures of that type. That's how you deck... That's how deck building works. If that card is doing something useful in your deck, it's a bad deck. This is a good card. I mean, it's instant speed reanimation. Living phone. It's a very sinister looking telephone. Malevolent Chandelier. That is a very malevolent looking chandelier. Ugh, that's a bad card. It doesn't do anything. It's 6 mana for a 4/4 flyer with a wait, where does it take them from? Is it from the graveyard? Oh, Manifest Dread. I love this card. That's why I never travel without a flamethrower. It's such a great piece of flavor text as well. Also, this is actually a good. It's a pretty good. It goes bumped up to great because I have a soft spot for this card because it has identical rules text and a name, and the flavor text is so good it's going into great. It's probably not. Okay, this card is almost certainly. This is a commander card. And unsurprisingly, for a Wooburg card, it goes straight in unplayable. Oh, this card is just bad. I don't want to put it in Yeah, I want an extra tier. They're terrible. No, this is unplayable, but in the right deck, it could be useful. These are unplayable in draft. Maybe we'll rename this to unplayable in limited. These cards are just terrible. This card... Basically, in order for you not to just die, it's basically your life total you gain 5 life. It's just you just lose a bunch of life, and then it just ties your hand size to your life total for no real benefit. You draw cards when you gain life, sure, but you also have to discard them when you get hit. Damage causes loss of life. But it's just bad. Right? Because in order not to die... Basically, because unless you have very little life, that like... If you're on 2 life, okay, yeah, sure, it'll extend your life. But most of the time, you have more... Your life total is higher than the number of cards you have in your hand. I think this is definitely bad. You would have to put so much work into making it work making it actually do something useful. In order to offset the risk of you killing yourself by running out of cards. You would basically just need to be gaining loads of life, and at that point it's just like, what are you doing with yourself here? This is probably... I mean... Activated abilities. You would have loyalty abilities if you had Kaito. Ugh. This is fine. But I think the versatility of being a room bumps it up to good. Is this the unstoppable? Oh no, Meat Massacre. This is a terrible card. Meat Massacre is a brilliant card. If you bet X equals 1, it's 6 mana to make them sacrifice 1 creature. It's so expensive. The first Meathook Massacre gives all creatures get -X till end of turn. I don't know whether it's X, it might only be single X and a bunch of black. But the first Meathook Massacre, it hits everything, and essentially the amount of damage it does scales with the amount of mana you pay. For this, the amount of creatures it hits scales with the damage, and you have to sack them as well. Like, if they had... Like, it's not a board wipe. It doesn't deal with Scoot Swarms. So I'm going to pay 2,000 mana to make you sacrifice your 1,000 Scoot Swarms. Like, no. Mythic is going in bad. It's not in terrible, because at least it's kind of vaguely useful sometimes, maybe. This is a good... This, on the other hand, is a great card. It'll close the game. It's a 5/4 flyer for 6. And then you can kind of do a mini board wipe as well. It's a very good card. Midnight Mayhem. I mean, it's 4 mana for 3 1/1s with Menace, Lifelink, and Haste. It's fine. That's probably... seems like a pretty great card. Over for a basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped. That's a... I mean, it's 6 mana, that is a good card. 6 mana for the second room. Oh, sorry, the door on the right. Monstrous Emergence. Again, it's a green bite spell. Goes to good. Most Valuable Slayer. Just fell. Murder. Murder is a great card. Murder is great. That's what we should take away from this. Do not need to copy an image link. Nashi, Searcher in the Dark. Oh, there's a ninja. 2 mana, 2/2 with Menace. When it is common to play, you mill that many cards, and we put any number of legendary and/or enchantment cards among them into your hand. If you put no cards into your hand this way, it gets a +1/+1 counter. The legendaries isn't going to do much. The enchantments, I think it's good for being a bear with Menace. An upside. Let's say fine. It's probably a bit better than that, but... Nuko, Light of Hope. Oh, Planeswalker. Or X-Planeswalker. 4 mana, 3/4. To get 2 shards, 2 tap, exile target non-legendary creature you control. Shards you control become copies of it until the beginning of the next end step. Turn it to the battlefield and search control at the beginning of the next end step. Add instant speed. So it will allow something to dodge removal and make things copies of it. I think I'm putting him in great. Oh, Norin. Why is he even here? He's a coward. I love it. He was referencing a flavor text or something. Human coward. Cowards combat warriors. I think he's pretty good. Is this sporogenic? Oh, this is nowhere to run. This is actually a very good card. I mean, it's like a removal spell, but like flipping hexproof and ward doesn't trigger. Oblivious Bookworm. I mean, that's not being oblivious. That's just being stupid, huh? Like it's like my Geiger counter's going crazy. Must be broken. Like what? What? Your. I mean, I'm assuming it's some sort of ghost detector. Your device for detecting something says it's there, and you're not considering the fact that maybe it's because the thing it's detecting is there. It might be a horror movie archetype stereotype type thing. To be fair. I mean, it's a pretty good card. What is that? Oh, Omnivorous Flytrap. It's good. Six is hard to do. I had this at pre-release. I got it up to 4, but I didn't get it up to 6. I think I'm putting it in great. Just about. That it's a stick grenade. That is like a German World War II stick grenade. That's good. Orphans of the Wheat. That's pretty good. The reason it's not great is because like those creatures then don't get to attack. I'll see a stick twister. Do I have one of these? Yeah. It's pretty good. Just it's poking everybody. And it deals damage to them so you gain life. This is a great card. This is Overlord of the Bale Merc. Avatar Horror. Oh, it's one of the impendings. I don't think it actually does enough. I mean, this thing is a 5 mana that just starts smacking things. This one goes in great. This one has flying, which just puts it up to great. Oh, it makes this is the one that makes everywheres. And it's 6/5, so it's big. It's a 5 mana 6/5 that makes you lands. It's a pretty green card. It's big and makes lands. That's I mean, it's good just because the second one. How much was the second door? 2 mana. Paranormal Analyst. That's a great card. Like, you get to draw one of them goes in the back and the other one goes to your hand. That's a great card. When I'm like, oh, I want one of those, you know it's probably a pretty darn good card. Patched Plaything. I don't think this is an okay card. I mean, it's like a 3 mana 2/1 with double strike, which is okay. If you... I guess you're supposed to manifest it, maybe? I mean, the 3 mana 2 with double strike is... This is... fine. I mean, realistically, right, you're going to have land, creature, enchantment, artifact, maybe instant sorcery. In the draft, you're almost certainly not going to have Planeswalker. There are no kindreds or battles in this set. Technically, if you're playing Mystery Booster 2, you can get emblems into your graveyard. I may have forgotten one. You can't have planes, phenomena, schemes, ongoings, vanguards in your can't be in your graveyard, so they're irrelevant. So it's probably going to be like 4 or 5, maybe 6. But I guess it's a wheel. Pretty good. Piggy Bank. I mean, it's a 2 mana 3/2 that gives you a treasure token when it dies. It's good. This card's eh. It's decidedly eh. Also, has there only been like one? I know there have been 2 counter spells. Popular Egotist. I knew you'd want me to live, bestie. Yeah. Obviously, you can do this in combat, and it stays in combat. It just becomes tapped. But it doesn't get removed from combat or anything. I think that's a good card. Possessed Goat. Oh, the goats. You can do it at instant speed. It's a good card. Does he gain flying? No. Pyroclasm. Yeah. 2 damage isn't enough for me to put it in good. slightly weird because that like my name is Henry, so like wait, why is he talking to me? I have to pay one. So it's a 3-mana 4/4, or maybe the 3-mana 0 like 1/4, whatever it is. Oh, that's just mean. But that is a great card. Reluctant role model. It doesn't feel quite like great to me. Okay, so it's a board wipe with a permanent you control of hexproof for some reason. I think it gets nudged up to great. That's not unstoppable slasher, it's too early for anything. Resurrected cultist. That is a... I think I'm putting that in great. I don't want to pay 3 mana and sacrifice a land to draw a card. If you're doing that, then you're desperate. It's... The fact that it's in red and has reach nudges it up to fine. But yeah, this is just a card that exists. But the only flashback card in the entire set. I think it's good. But it's a bit weird. That's pretty good. You are the monarch, basically, except not. A weird one. I mean, that on alone is probably... It draws you an extra card. Who's the slasher? Who is that? Oh, okay. It's Valgoloth, fair enough. Rootwise Survivor, 5 mana, 3/4 haste. Yeah, the land gains haste until your next turn just because now it has summoning sickness so that you can tap it for mana. It does need to survive. Savior of the Small. Saw. Not chainsaw. That was my reaction, really. Three mana, 3/2 menace. This is a. I mean, it's a. To put that in good. Say its name. Realistically, it's the concept of the idea that will you draft 3 copies of Say Its Name and a copy of Altanak the Thrice Called? No. So it's fine because all it does is the first bit. No, it's not fine. It's there. This is just like Lightning Strike, but slightly better. I mean, the Planeswalkers are irrelevant. It's just Lightning Strike, but like... I died to this. I died to a Scrabbling Skullcrab. Oh, Screaming Nemesis. This is a great card. The non-gaining life is rarely relevant. It's much more relevant in Constructed. But it is still a great card because it's a 3 mana 3/3 with haste. And then it takes stuff down with it when it dies, basically. If they block it, it does stuff. This card is amazing. It's not actually amazing, but it's nobody expects the single mana, the 1 mana it was a Selesny, obviously this is white. Flipping 1 mana white counterspell. It's a great card. It's stupid. Why did they print a single white for a counterspell? This is a great card as well because it's 2 mana Banishing Light, and it gives the flipping creature ward and lifelink. Shepherding Spirit, 6 mana 4/5. It's fine. It's just too expensive. Shrewd Storyteller. Wait, hang on a second. I need to look something up. He looks like... this guy. That's what I thought. He was one of my tutors at university. Did I put it in good? Yeah, he actually looks like my tutor. Oh, this is the guy I was thinking of. It's weird. I think it's probably good. It's just weird that it's like the double white, double black. This is... So, like, you attack, it becomes a 3/3. Probably. Then you hit for another 3, then you draw a card. and then it becomes a copy of another target creature, and it keeps the plus and plus encounters. I'm putting in an amazing. That's fine. This card's fine. It's a bit expensive. It's fine, because you need to be playing for it quite heavily. Spectral Snatcher. Oh, this thing's pretty good. I mean, it's a 6 mana 6/5. It's actually worth it, unlike that white one that I put in. But it's a flipping ward discarded card, makes it much better. That's fine. Split Up. Oh, this is a very good card. Because obviously they attack, then you board wipe all of their stuff, or like you attack and then you board wipe all of their stuff. Board wipes don't really get to go in amazing. Unless their Cyclonic Rift, I suppose, would go in amazing. Because it's a one-sided board wipe. That's a good card. This is a great card. Especially because if they only have one creature, you can put it on your own creature, and then they have to sacrifice theirs. Much better than Cracked Skull. Not Skull Crack. Skull Crack. What does Skull Crack do? The thing I know about Skull Crack is that damage can't be prevented this turn. Oh, players can't gain life this turn. Then it does 3 damage to target player or planeswalker. This is not a good card. Like, it's... You have to jump through hoops to get it to do anything. Oh, apologies, I'm nearly done. And then go and do a bunch of sneezing, I guess. This is pretty good, especially because you get to manifest dread. I'm putting that in great. Yeah, it's good, but not great. Oh, Terramorphic expands. I'm putting it in great. I guess they didn't print Evolving Wilds in this set. I don't really understand this card. Especially because I hadn't noticed that he's making balloons of faces. Oh. Now, normally, mill effects, I would say, not good in limited, because you generally need them in large numbers. This card, I mean, it'll four-shot. I mean, it'll probably kill your opponent if you hit them 3 times with it. Right? Because obviously they have a 40-card deck. They drew 7 for their opening hand, so as long as they've drawn 3 cards, and if you hit them 3 times, they'll deck themselves. So I think this is actually a... I'm putting it in amazing. It'll win you the game very, very quickly if they don't get rid of it. If I got that, I would absolutely be playing blue. It's going in amazing. The Roller Crusher Ride. See, this is the sort of thing, right? This scales... Sure, you have to pay more to do more damage, but you also get to hit more things, so it does X squared damage for X plus 3 mana. The cost scales linearly with X, but the damage it does scales quadratically. And obviously if you have Delirium, then it does double the damage. So I think this is a great card. This is a great card in theory. The hell is this the one that makes all the Tamios? Yeah. I don't think this is a good card. Right? Crucially, you have to pay for the copies. So realistically, you're going to be getting like 2 or 3. There are no Tameo Planeswalkers in this set. I guess this is the Wanderer. So... Oh yeah, because she has Convoke, so you can convoke all your creatures. Can you convoke with more creatures than you need to? No. And obviously then they get Hexproof. I don't think she quite makes it into amazing, but she's definitely great. We already had the Gruul one. That's Golgari. There's the Gruul one. That's a good card. I think it's that one. The Covenant 2 is very good. That's a good card. It's a bit of a weird one. Think it's good. This is a great card, right? Yeah. It's Banishing Light, but with Ward. This is actually a very good card, especially for 1 mana. Like he kills something and the other can't block. Yeah. It's choose 2 target creatures. Yeah. Plus they will agonize over the decision. It's a 3 mana 2/2 that gives you a 1/1. This is a good card. I'm assuming, yeah. I'm assuming it's an instant? Yes. Pretty terrible as a sorcery. Oh, here we go. Counterspell. This, I mean, it's a flippin' instant speed blocker in blue. Where did it go? There. I think. Yes. This is, I mean, it's a mana dork. In theory, I've never cracked it for the spiders or whatever they are. Tyvar the Pummeler. This is a great card. It's for 1 mana. And it gets rid of all the abilities. And they can't turn it face up. Oh, you can just cast it from your graveyard. That is a great card. It just doesn't die. Wait, does it have to be your non-zombie? Nope. So you don't have to lose something. You can kill your opponent's thing and recast it. I mean, it's basically Manifest Dread with 1 extra mana for a pretty for an admittedly pretty decent effect. Where did I put Manifest Dread? There. I think that's Unstoppable Slasher. Meh. It's fine. Unholy Annex. Oh, but your Ritual Chamber makes you a demon. This is a great card. This is, I'd say, great. It's a UFO. Oh! You don't even have to return anything. This card's fine. Assuming it's unstoppable? Yeah. I think it's great. It's not as good as Grievous Wound, because Grievous Wound does really stupid things if, yeah. Unstoppable Statue, you can just block it ultimately. Is a spell allowed to target itself? I don't actually know. Like, if someone counterspells, can you use this to change the counterspell to be targeting itself? I don't know. Unwanted remake. I mean, single white destroy target creature. I mean, it's no swords. Is it an instant? Yes. This card's pretty good. You need to be... I'm going to put it in great. Valgavoth is probably amazing. I don't think so. Oh, okay. He's got an unpayable ward cost. You might actually be having to play mono black. And he has lifelink, right? If your card you didn't control goes into your opponent's graveyard, he gets exiled. Oh, not if you control it. If you control it. And then you can play them, and you have to pay life rather than... If it has X, do you have to choose X equals 0? I assume. And the ward is... But the point, what I was saying about the life is... You have to pay life, dude. But he generates you 9 life per turn. Because you're attacking with this 9/9 flyer. This card is amazing. It's fine. Svelgo's Lair. Svelgo's Lair is great. It's basically Rupture Spire, but a bit better. Or Terramorphic Expanse, but better. So this card is amazing as well. Again, the cost scales linearly, but the amount of power and toughness you get scales quadratically. Like, I do think this is an amazing card. It did so much work. I've got one. It did so much work for me at the event where I pulled it. It's a good. It's very expensive. It's fine. 4 mana. I didn't quite internalize that. Yeah, I'll put that in good. Veteran survivor. No, yeah, it's pretty good. Vicious clown. That is wow. That's in limited, right? You're unlikely to get it just because it'd be very. I feel like you need a constructed deck to properly get value out of getting that resolving multiple times. You have to sacrifice a creature or enchantment, then they have to sacrifice a non-token enchantment and a non-token creature, and they have to do the enchantment first. Which means if they have, if their only enchantments are enchantment, if they only have one enchantment and it's an enchantment creature, but they have other creatures, they have to sack the enchantment creature and then sack another creature. If it were the other way around, they could sack the enchantment creature and then say, "Oh, I have no enchantments." But you can set like a token, some useless creature token, and then they have to sack a non-token. This is a very good card. It is 7 mana, but it also has flying and trample. I think I'm putting it in amazing. If I put Valgavod's Onslaught in amazing. Violent Urge. That's a great card. 1 mana double strike? Yes, please. So it's Crucible of Worlds. I'm not actually sure this is very good. The lands from your graveyard is in limited and constructed. Okay, yes, the same way that Crucible of Worlds has its. There are decks where Crucible of Worlds is actually useful. So you have to pay 5 mana to unlock this door, and then you can cast. It's like Past Inflame, but it's like 5 mana. You're only going to realistically get like 1 or 2 things. No, you know what? I've changed my mind. It's fine. Waltz of Rage. Oh, that is a great card. It's a board wipe. That also impulsive draws you a whole pile of cards. Because the creature will kill all your other stuff, and then you get to impulsive draw a bunch of times. This is fine. Wickerfolk Thresher. 4 mana 5/4. I mean, that's a great card. It ramps, and if it doesn't ramp, it draws you cards. Basically, it draws you cards, but if sometimes it just ramps instead. That is also a great card. This is a hilarious card. It draws you a bunch of cards. Like a lot of cards. and then they just have to keep discarding them. I think this is great. It is playable in limited as long as you draft it early. It's only 3 colours. You can draft 3 colours. It's not that bad. It works perfectly fine, really. Although it can be a bit fragile with your mana base, but you'll probably be fine. Winter's Intervention. So you never start with you gain 2 life. That's 2 damages isn't enough to kill anything that's actually dangerous. Withering Torment. 3 mana, destroy target creature. That is a great card. I mean, it's no murder, but it does hit enchantments. And Zimone, terrible card. Beginning of your end step, if a land entered the battlefield under your control this turn, not entered, and you control a prime number of lands, you create Primo. Yes, it does consider 37, 41, 43, 47, 53, 59, 61, 67, 71, 73, 79, 80, 83, 89? $91. Oh no, that divides by 7. I guess. Seven times 13. Yeah. So not 91, but 87, 97. All the prime numbers up to 100. This card's terrible. It's just terrible. And I'm really salty about it. It was my promo card. And I was like, it's so cool. I can make a really... It cares about prime numbers. It'd be great because I kind of been wanting to build like a goofy Simic commander deck. So, it's just a goofy Simic legendary. Except it's terrible. Anyway. That's all of those cards ranked. Yeah. Goodbye.